Hey guys, welcome back to the Juice Reacts channel and welcome to another top 10 ranking video today. It is obviously Valentine's Day, February 14th, so you know I had to do it. You know I had to talk about the Valentine's episode of High School Musical, the series. So Valentine's Day is a day for love. It's a day for relationships. But there's also a little bit in every single person who just despises Valentine's Day. I mean, can we all be real for a second? Does anybody really like Valentine's Day? I don't think so. And so, we have a top 10 ranking to distract you from the outside world of Valentine's Day. And boy, was this quite the episode when it came out. Season 2, episode number 3, Valentine's Day. Ooh, it is an episode and a half. Now, for being one episode, I was actually able to find a good amount of individual moments to put on this top 10 list. Now, I am not going to be doing any honorable mentions for this list because I feel like honorable mentions are only needed for something that encompasses a little bit more content than just one singular episode. Like when I did the honorable mentions for the ships, that required honorable mentions because there was just so many more that I was leaving out that I wanted to at least talk about for a second. And I wanted to bring them up and not just make you think that I forgot about them or didn't know about them. So something like that I feel like deserves and is welcome to have honorable mentions. But a singular episode probably doesn't need honorable mentions because for the most part it's hard to find 10 moments to fit in the list, to fill out the list. But this one wasn't like that. Number 10. Now, this one could be considered not really a moment because it comes at the end of the episode. It comes when the credits are rolling, and so some people might have missed it if you didn't immediately if you immediately hit the stop on the episode right after it cuts to black. It does come up right after it comes back from black. But it is Red Means Love. And I put this at number 10 because I enjoy the song. I think the song's very good, and you get to see the rest of the kids in there too, like helping out Big Red, try to impress Ashlyn and all that stuff. And what it really comes down to is what I've talked about previously in my ships episode with the whole Redlin relationship. How I feel like it's just, it doesn't feel super emotional. It doesn't feel like, it's hard to explain their relationship because they don't feel like they're really meant for each other, and obviously we know that they're not. But when they were in their relationship, it didn't feel right. It's hard to explain. But this song still is a very good song, and it does encompass their relationship. It encompasses Big Red and Ashlyn in that episode because Big Red had the whole nervous thing about how is he going to impress Ashlyn because he thinks that she's this amazing, talented, cool person, which she is, and he doesn't think that he can live up to her standards, and he's got to do all these impressive things, and she doesn't realize that. She thinks that he's just crazy because he kind of is. But then at the end of the episode, they come together at the pizza place. They have that deep conversation, which is a nice conversation. I do enjoy that part of the episode. And they realize that they give out their emotions. They let their emotions out. They talk to each other, and then everything's good. So Red Means Love kind of encompasses that with the whole roll out the red carpets, put the name in lights, all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be number 10 on the list. Number 9 on the list, I've talked about my feelings with Howie. I've talked about my feelings with Howie before, but he's got to be on the list, and he's going to be above Red Means Love because I honestly don't even know why he's going to be above Red Means Love, but he's going to be above Red Means Love because it is Howie finally lightening up. And by this I mean the fact that when we first are introduced to Howie, he's kind of distant, he's brash, he's overconfident, and he's mean towards Courtney because he doesn't think that she's gonna last as the manager of the oops, my phone fell down. He doesn't think that she's gonna last as the manager of the pizza place, and so he's just kind of like not even really acknowledging her because they've had so many different managers rotated in and out that he doesn't even need to know who she is because she's gonna be gone soon. So he kind of has that kind of personality, and then throughout the time that he's on screen, we start to learn a bit more about him, slightly. We don't really know too much about him at this point. But Courtney kind of wears him down, and then at the end, she was right with the whole put the Parmesan underneath I think it was the banana peppers, right? So that when you sprinkle it on the pizza, it's the Parmesan's not covering the banana peppers and you're not like mixing the stuff. And so then when Howie delivers that pizza to the house, he comes back and he says that the people were impressed that for the first time they didn't have their banana peppers covered in Parmesan cheese and all that kind of stuff. So he gives her the tip, and then he lightens up. He tells her his actual name, and then we move on from there, and they go into their relationship. So him lightening up leads to their eventual relationship, and it leads to a very good song in the upcoming episodes by Howie, because he's a really good singer, but he's just kind of bland. he is just, that first episode that he's in kind of is the most character that he's ever shown, if you know what I mean. Like, he doesn't really show any more personality or any, like, he doesn't really, like, improve on that character or show us anything more after that first initial episode with him in it, which is not great, but that's what Howie is. That's what Howie is. And it does lead to, it's pretty important because it does lead to Courtney's relationship with him, which we've talked about before, but it's an important moment in the season. So it is going to be on the list at number 9. Number 8 is one that I've talked about previously on a couple of different lists, including the spooky list, because it's just an overall kind of like weird vibe, creepy vibe kind of scene, and it is Lily is moving north. Now, the reason she's moving north, obviously you guys know, is because she didn't get the role of Belle in the play, because she was mean to Big Red on the auditions. She laughed at him when he fell down during his tap dance routine, and Miss Jen saw that, and she didn't give her the role because of that, even though she's very talented. And then she says she's moving north because she's going to North High to be the Belle in their Beauty and the Beast production. So it's just a whole creepy scene, creepy vibe. It's later at night. It's like 5 o'clock at night, 6 o'clock at night. I don't know why they're still at school. It's a weird vibe, and it's honestly more important for the entire storyline of season 2. That's why it gets put at number 8 over Howie. And honestly, Lily's a better character than Howie, even though that feels weird to say. Even though we don't like Lily, and Lily is a weird, annoying, frustrating character in her own right, she's better than Howie. Because she has personality, at least. So that's number 8 on the list. Number 7 on the list will include Big Red and Ashlyn again. Hey guys, it's Editor Juice here. I was just going over the edits for the Valentine's video that you're watching right now, and I realized that I completely skipped a number, but I didn't realize it in my mind, and I still said the numbers in the correct order after this. Like, it ended up being the right number for number 1, number 2 previous. I just, for some reason, skipped this one in my mind, maybe because there was 2 Big Red and Ashlyn ones so close together, like right back to back, that I just forgot one. But anyway, this is the real number 7 on the list. Number 7 is Ashlyn and Big Red are scared together. It's a very good scene. It's the culmination of the entirety of their episode, where Big Red is he's panicking, trying to make this Valentine's Day special for Ashlyn. He's trying to do all these big things to make sure that Ashlyn feels special, and he knows, because he's trying to live up to what he has in his mind of her. And Ashlyn has all these feelings of, she's just like, she's going through her own stuff. And so it culminates at the pizza place, where they sit down, they have a conversation, they finally tell each other how they're feeling. Ashlyn says that she's scared because she's thinking of all this stuff about the play and about Belle and all this stuff and about Big Red and all this stuff, and she's scared. And then Big Red says that he's scared, and we get the, you've been feeling scared this whole time, and then Ashlyn says, yeah, you've been feeling scared this whole, and then Big Red says we can be scared together, and they hold hands. It's a beautiful moment, and it is one of the better moments of their entire relationship, if we're being totally honest. So that is the real number 7 on the list. Now, I will, when it cuts back to the previously recorded, I will continue to say the numbers as I read them, and it will, so technically the next one up you will see that when it cuts back to the previously recorded stuff will be number 6, and then I'm pretty sure after that, that's the only thing that will change. So I just skipped number 6 and didn't say it, basically, is how it goes. Because this is number 7, the next one up is going to be number 6, then it's correct from the rest on. So, sorry to confuse you, I confused myself. That's what I get for putting 2 Big Red and Ashlyn moments right in a row, right next to each other, back to back. But that's number 7, now back to the video. It is going to be Big Red jumping out of Ashlyn's locker. I really do love this this moment, this scene in the show, in the episode, because first off, he's got the throb sprayed on him, and so he's panicking to Ricky because he's got to do something big. He's gonna show off what he's gonna do for Ashlyn to Ricky, but then he jumps into Ashlyn's locker, and Ashlyn's locker is notoriously a little sticky. It's a little harder to open, so he gets stuck in there, and Ricky's panicking. He's got to go get help, and for some reason he says, "Stay here." Where else is he gonna go, Ricky? So he runs down, but then he gets distracted by Nene, and that's a whole different thing. And then when Gina and Ashlyn get to her locker, Ashlyn opens it up, Big Red pops out, freaks everybody out. Go back and watch that scene and look at Gina's face the whole time. Her face is hilarious. It's perfect in that scene because it's just like a little bit of like smiling, because I think that's a little bit more Sophia laughing at the scene. And then it's also like being genuinely terrified that someone jumped out of a locker at her, and he had like the Valentine heart confetti thing like pop out as well. And then he runs away and says that he's gonna meet her or she needs to meet him at the pizza place, but then Ashlyn smells the locker. It smells like throb. That's a good stuff. That's a really good scene. I do enjoy that scene. I laugh at it every single time I see it, because that's my kind of humor. Big Red is my kind of humor. So that is maybe one of my more favorite scenes of the entire episode, which is why it is number 6. Number 5 on the list, our first Seblos entry onto the list. And Lily's not going to like this one because it involves Seb, and she hates Seb, but Seb giving Carlos the plant to grow with their relationship, that is going to be number 5. And it is number 5 because it is a very important part of the entire episode. It's kind of like the through line of the entire episode, because Seb is panicking that he is in a relationship with a much richer family, a person from a much richer family. So Carlos gets him that sled, that wooden sled or something that he talked about how he loved when he was a kid, and I think he like broke or something. I forget what happened, but he gives him that. Carlos gifts Seb that, and then Seb's like, "What? I don't have the money to be able to get you anything." And then he says, "I got you something from Ye Old Farm." This whole episode is very weird with Seb, but it's also very funny. And then we get to the point where he has the whole conversation with Courtney, which we'll get to in a second. And then at the end of the episode, they're at the pizza place. He gives Carlos the exact same little like heart candy thing, and it says, "Look under your seat," just like Carlos gave to him. He pulls out a potted plant, or a pot of dirt, and Seb says that it's an organic plant that is going to grow with their relationship, which is honestly very, like, sweet and touching and heartwarming gesture from Seb. It's a very good idea. I don't know where he came up with it, but it's a very good idea for him to do this, because, like, the fact that I might have to steal that, like the fact that you give somebody a pot of dirt with a seed in it and says it's going to grow with your relationship, like, that's, people are a sucker for that kind of thing. So I need to steal that, actually. So that is number 5 on the list. It's the roots, to steal a pun. It's the roots of the Seblos relationship. It's very good. Number 4 on the list, you know it had to come at some point. It is Ricky singing Even When. Now, notice I didn't say Ricky and Nene doing their duet. It's simply Ricky singing Even When, and this isn't just when he sings to Nene on the voicemail. This is when he does it a little bit at the beginning, when he's in his new apartment, and he's playing the guitar before Gina shows up, and he's practicing. That moment tied into when he does the full rendition, the full version on the phone for Nene when they are doing the voicemails for each other. And the reason I didn't put the duet on here is because I honestly like Even When more than the other version. Best Part. I forgot what it was called for a second. I like Even When more than the Best Part. And obviously, I like Ricky more than Nene. So, and we know that their relationship was doomed from the start. It's a whole thing. We've talked about this plenty of times. So I'm going to put Even When on here, but I'm not going to put the Best Part on here because of reasons. It's my list. I can do what I want. That's number 4 on the list. Number 3, I mentioned it slightly earlier. It is going to be Courtney finding her level. So the whole season and the whole first season of High School Musical has this little subplot where Courtney is trying to find her voice. She's trying to figure out who she is in the theater. And so when she realizes that she's going to be... Did I say season 1? I meant season 2. Both seasons has her doing this. And so when she breaks the sound system in season 1 at the tech rehearsal, Miss Jen says, "Don't go anywhere. I've got big plans for you next semester," or whatever, for the spring musical. And so we get to that. It becomes Beauty and the Beast, and she's given Miss Potts, which is a very important character in Beauty and the Beast. If you're not aware, I'm assuming all of you are aware. And so Mrs. Potts has in a very important song when she sings the title track. She sings Beauty and the Beast. And so Courtney is concerned and worried because she's only ever really sang in church. And when she's in church, she feels comfortable and she feels safe and all this kind of stuff, and she can let her voice belt out like it truly should. But when she's like on stage or when she's in front of these other people, she doesn't feel as comfortable. She doesn't feel like she can belt it out and be as loud as she wants or she could be and be as wonderful as she is. So Big Red or Seb plays the piano version of the song so that she can find her level. She can feel confident in it and figure out her voice, which is a really nice little thing between Seb and Courtney, which honestly we don't get a whole lot of. You don't get a whole lot of Seb and Courtney throughout the 4 seasons, mainly because in season 3 and 4 Seb kind of trails off as a character. But in season 1 and 2, you don't get a whole ton of Seb and Courtney like one-on-one or good moments. And this is really like the big moment in Seb and Courtney is Seb playing the piano version of Beauty and the Beast and recording it, sending it to her so that she can sing over it and find her levels. She sings it. It's a really wonderful way to end the episode or finish off getting close to the end of the episode, because obviously Big Red or Ricky and Nene end the episode. But you got the whole montage where you're going through. It shows Seb and Carlos. It shows Ashlyn and Big Red, it shows, and they're like dancing in the pizza place because they're the only ones there besides Courtney, and it's just a really good moment, and I enjoy that scene because it's a good song, and she's a wonderful singer, and they're perfect together, and it's really nice moment for Courtney to actually be able to feel confident with her voice and not feel like she needs to hold back because she shouldn't have to. And then we get that in season 3 with Frozen and Let It Go, which is just chef's kiss. That's number 3. Number 2, number 2 number 2 is going to be Gina showing up at Ricky's apartment. I mean, we gotta talk about this. Let's talk about the pure shock that I had the first time I watched this episode, and Ricky opens the door, and he thinks it's gonna be, doesn't he think it's Nene? Or does he think it's does he think it's Big Red? I can't remember who he thinks it is. I think he thinks it's Nene. And then he opens the door, and it's Gina. And she's so happy to be there, and then they go in, and they have this whole conversation where they're kind of like talking about Valentine's Day and all this kind of stuff, and then Nene FaceTimes Ricky, and Ricky shushes Gina. Like, if you didn't have feelings for this girl, you wouldn't shush her when your girlfriend calls, because you wouldn't feel guilty that she's there. If you thought of her as a friend, you'd be like, oh, let me take this call real quick, do whatever you want, I'm going to go talk to my girlfriend. But no, he shushes her and then goes away to talk to Nene, to hide Gina from Nene, to hide the fact that she's there. Say what you want, that's pretty big evidence to the fact that Ricky is always like Gina since season 1. So we get that, and then Gina has the audacity to say, I think I'll get, or I don't, hold on. Let me get it in my head first, because it's just so crazy of a scene. Let me get it in my head first. I'm still completely shook by the fact that she said this. So she says, Ricky says, I think you'll get yours, because Gina needs, or she wants her Valentine's moment, and she thinks that her mom forgot about it. She usually sends her a bear, or she sends her something like that to know Gina knows that she loves her, even though I'm sure she knows that she loves her. But then Ricky says, I'm sure you'll get yours, which he has no business saying. I guess he does. It could be friendly, but we know it's not friendly. It's more romantic. And then Gina says, I'll be fine. And then she leaves. And fun fact, she leaves the opposite way of where she came in. If you pay close attention to the scene, she doesn't leave through the door. She leaves through off stage, which is just a little fun fact that I like to point out. But anyway, I digress. So we get that whole scene, which is just like, oh my God. And then it brings us to number 1. And I think you all knew when I said that this list was going to be happening, and you're watching this list from 10 to 1, I think you knew what number 1 was going to be. If you know anything about me, you knew this was going to be number 1. Number 1 is Gina finds the chocolates. I mean, what other moment in the Valentine's Day episode could have surpassed this? It's literally the thumbnail for Disney Plus on this episode. You go into season 2, you see all the episodes in a row, you see all the thumbnail pictures, and this one, Valentine's Day, is Gina holding chocolates. So it's one of the scenes of all time. I can't believe the absolute audacity of Richard Bowen to give her the chocolates and not say anything about it, because we know that Ricky is the one to have initiated the chocolates. He may not have been the one to deliver the chocolates. Obviously, we know that because we saw the person delivering, which is the delivery guy. He might not even have been the one to write the note. He might not even have been the one to do anything. But he was in cahoots with Gina's mom and maybe somebody else, maybe Ashlyn, somebody, to get the chocolates to Gina because Ricky is a dirty dog and he was cheating on Nene, even though he wasn't really cheating on her. But we knew that whole relationship wasn't going to work anyway, so it's not really cheating if you think about it like that. So this whole scene, man, Gina picks up the chocolates, she reads the note, and then coincidentally, I mean, come on, Ricky. If you didn't send the note and you didn't send the chocolates and you didn't know she was going to get it at this moment, the fact that you send the whole text that says, like, thanks for the talk or whatever, and at the exact same moment, that can't be a coincidence. It just can't be. Ricky's not that smart. He's not that lucky, I should say. He's not going to get that coincidence like that. And that makes Gina think that Ricky was the one to send those chocolates to her. And so she sends a text back. And then the mom comes in, Gina's mom comes in with a text that says, hope you got the chocolates. And then Gina panics. And we all know what happens. And then Ricky, once he gets done with the whole duet to Nene, or the duet with Nene, but he was just singing his part on the voicemail, he lays down, it goes split screen. Nene gets the voicemail from Ricky. Ricky gets the voicemail from Nene, but he also gets the text from Gina. Now, I do think that they kind of handled this a little bit weird in the following episodes, because then we get the Storm episode right after this one. And the whole episode, Ricky's kind of like teasing Gina about the chocolates and saying that, what do I have to give you a box of chocolates to show you how much I care about you, or something along those lines. And it's just, it's a weird way that they handled it, because the whole episode he's just like kind of putting it off. And maybe it's because they wanted you to think that he didn't give her the chocolates, even though we all know that he did. And I think it was confirmed in season 4 when Ricky shows up at Gina's house with the exact same box of chocolates. So I think they kind of low-key confirmed it in season 4, even though they didn't exactly expressly say it. But I don't know. The Storm episode's a weird one in general. Maybe I'll do a whole top 10 on just how weird the episode is. But the whole, like, Gina doesn't know where she stands with people, or with some people, which she means Ricky. And then at least she does make up with Carlos at that point, because her and Carlos are having that little thing. And then we get the Quinceañera episode after that. But, like, I've talked about this before. Season 2 Ricky is very dickish, very douchey, very weirdly written. And it stems from his relationship with Nene. And he kind of, like, just, like, weirdly hurts Gina unintentionally. It's weird, the stuff that he does in the episode, like stealing the spotlight from Gina to sing the song at the first episode with Nene, and she's right there, and it's just like the whole season is just weird until they break up. Nene and Ricky break up. It's a whole weird thing. But the Storm episode's super weird, how they go on after the whole chocolates thing. So I don't know, but finding the chocolates is the through line of the entire relationship. I mean, are we kidding me? You got homecoming, you got the chocolates. Those are the two big things, and obviously the hat that Gina knits for him on Thanksgiving. Those are the things that are the through lines that you get season 3, you get season 4 of Rena. Those are the little things, the foundation of the relationship. So that is my top 10 Valentine's Day moments. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you agreed with it, let me know down below in the comments. If you have any suggestions, if you disagree with it, if you think that something should be higher, something should be lower, something should have been taken out entirely, or maybe I forgot something that should have been added in there, let me know down below in the comments. I love having the conversation with you guys down there. I appreciate you all stopping by. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day if you celebrate it with a loved one. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.